right. It's that time again for the Fack Outta here, where Messiah gets an opportunity to rant about his life. Everybody's favorite segment. Let's go, Messiah. What do you got for me this week?
Here's my thing, and I thought about it during the show as we're talking about conspiracy and all that. My fuck out of here says it's going to go back to the Champlain Tower, and the conspiracy behind it. I think it's kind of fucked up for the conspiracy behind it and how these things get created through conspiracy, because what happens is it takes away from the people that really lost their lives, right? And it sucks. And is a powerful people out there that's willing to sacrifice lives? Possibly. I mean, yeah, there's wars happen because of shit like that. I just think it's kind of like, for me to believe something like that, and when somebody will sacrifice innocent lives for it, for me, it's a fuck out of here. I don't believe in shit like that. I just think I love it and I entertain conspiracy. I just don't believe in them, and I don't believe innocent human lives will be destroyed over to get rid of something that doesn't really exist, right? And what I mean by that is, that whole thing behind that there was information, a terabytes there. I think it's kind of fucked up. I think it takes away from the tragedy that really happened, and it takes away from the families that really went through it. Just like, for example, the Orlando shootout that happened, there was conspiracy behind that. The schooling shootouts that happened, there was conspiracy behind that, and it takes away from the innocent lives that really got lost during that time for other people to create for their own thing. I'm not saying like there's people out there that believe and create these conspiracies just because, one, it's the world we live in. Two, they're looking for an answer. They can't get it because they can't trust the government or they can't trust anybody for it. So they create their own reality in the world. So my fuck out of here is that, let's just mourn those people that really lost their lives and forget about the conspiracy that happened.
Here's where I disagree. Here's where I disagree.
This is not a disagreement. This is a FOH. You can go next after.
All right. So you know what? This will be my FOH.
You can have your FOH. Okay. Go ahead.
This is going to be my
You're
FOH.
his FOH, Louis.
Come at
me. Normally I am. Go ahead.
All right. So here we go. So main screen me, so we don't got to listen to Messiah, right? What I can't stand is how people miss the point, right?
Okay.
And what I mean by that is this. Now, when tragedies happen and things like that go on, yes, we want to mourn the people who lost their lives. It was horrible and everything else. But how many of these events don't get brought to the light of day? How many of these things are just kind of pushed under the rug and not talked about? For instance, this thing that happened in Miami, right? There's no way in the world, I can pretty much guarantee you, that this platform and this show would have ever brought that up in its conversation. But what happened is there was a conspiracy theory about it. And what happened was that conspiracy theory caused individuals who may have otherwise had not cared a damn bit about looking into it and seeing what it was about to now try to find out what was the tragedy, which allowed them to now have appreciation and mourn for those people, but never would have done that without that conspiracy theory behind it. So what I say is, fuck out of here to the individuals who want to silence the people who are trying to have their voice heard about these tragedies that are going on in the world, in our country and everything else. But the individuals try to silence us and say, oh, just focus on the people whose lives were lost. Forget about everything else that caused it, right? Just focus on them. So that way we can get away with what we had to do. Fuck out of here.
Touché.
You know what? Fuck out of here to them too. Because you know what? All of a sudden, you inspired me to have a fuck out of here. Because I was talking to Louis, or I was talking to Messiah about it yesterday, and he was telling me like, have a fuck out of here moment. And my fuck out of here is to China. Like, F you, bro. Like, that's messed up that you're taking an indigenous people, you're putting them in re-education camps, and you're making them comply to whatever you have. Like, that's BS, bro. Like, nobody deserves to be a slave so that you can have whatever good. Like, that's inhumane. Nobody deserves that. There's children, there's mothers, there's fathers, there's grandparents that are suffering because of this. And, it's just effed up at the end of the day, man. Like, why can't we all get along? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a big fan of Bob Marley, and everybody should love each other, and you know, that's why I'm big into conspiracies, man. Like I love thinking outside the box. I love, you know, understanding everything that happens, and you know, challenging it, because everything is not what it seems. So I'm always going to challenge it. I'm always going to have an open mind, and you know, human life, to Messiah's point, is important, right? It's not fair to those people that passed away that, you know, we're making a conspiracy out of it, but at the same time, maybe it is, right? So you have to keep an open mind at the end of the day, and F out of here to all those people that don't think conspiracies are real, and to the Chinese government, because that's effed up. Like, you shouldn't be putting people in re-education camps and, you know, recreating the concentration camps that Germany did back in Nazi Germany, because that's effed up, man. Like, people are human. They breathe the same air as you. There's nothing that makes them less or more than you are. We're all the same. So that's my F out of here.
Well, guys, we ran way over, but we had great conversation, so it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, we did.
But until next week, we're still good to go, everybody. Just want to let you know. But 2 weeks from now, and we'll be posting on social media, we will be changing the day. Unfortunately, I have a work obligation, and I believe me, I'd rather be here with you than there with them, but I got to do what I got to do. For Messiah, for G, I'm the monster on the mic. We out.
We got the right stuff. We put the hammer right down. Wanna be like